Have you ever wondered what truly happens within a woman's body and mind after sharing an intimate experience with someone? It's a question that delves deep into both our physical and emotional realms, touching on aspects of human connection that are often complex and layered. To understand, this isn't just about biology or psychology, it's about the way our experiences, both joyous and difficult, shape who we are as individuals. In this video, we're going to explore the intricate layers of trust, vulnerability, and emotional bonds that come with intimacy, and why it's essential to fully comprehend how these moments affect not just our bodies, but also our hearts. If you've ever found yourself feeling confused or conflicted after sharing something so deeply personal with someone, or if you've experienced the unsettling feeling of giving your intimacy without feeling entirely secure or cherished in return, this video is for you. I'll walk you through the science behind our emotional and physical responses to intimacy, including how the release of hormones like oxytocin and dopamine plays a significant role in shaping our feelings of connection and satisfaction. These hormones have the power to influence everything from how we perceive our relationships to how we physically feel in our bodies after such experiences. By watching this video until the end, you'll uncover powerful insights on how intimacy can either strengthen your sense of self and deepen your connections, or leave you feeling emotionally drained. You'll also learn about the importance of safeguarding your emotional and physical well-being during these intimate moments. Setting clear boundaries, embracing the importance of self-love, and making conscious choices about who you share your vulnerable self with are all crucial components in maintaining your emotional health. This video isn't just a deep dive into the science of intimacy. It's a personal journey toward understanding your own body, your emotions, and the value you hold within yourself. So, I invite you to stay with me as we uncover the wisdom behind giving intimacy with love, trust, and care. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I highly encourage you to do so and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Your support truly means the world to me, and if you find this video valuable, I'd be so grateful if you could like it and share it with others who may benefit from these important insights. If you find the topic of this video interesting, please comment 1 to let me know. On the other hand, if it's not something you connect with or enjoy, feel free to comment 0 to help me understand what I can improve or what topics you would like to see in the future. Now, let's dive into today's conversation. Today, I want to delve into a topic that, at first glance, may seem deceptively simple, yet holds a vast, intricate web of meaning and emotional depth that we often overlook. It's a subject that we rarely stop to reflect on, even though it profoundly influences our emotional lives, our relationships, and our sense of self. What truly happens within a woman's body and mind after she shares her intimacy with someone? The answer to this question is far more complex than just the biological or psychological aspects we are often taught to focus on. It reaches deep into the core of our being, into our past experiences, our desires, the connections we crave, and the indelible marks these experiences leave on our souls. Reflecting on this isn't just an afterthought, it is an essential part of understanding ourselves, nurturing our emotional well-being, and ultimately, growing as individuals who can engage in healthy, meaningful relationships. This kind of reflection helps us understand not only how intimacy impacts us at the moment, but how it shapes our lives in the long term, how it influences our self-worth, and how it sets the tone for the kind of connections we seek and maintain. Sharing intimacy, as I've come to understand, is not just about the physical act. It is a profound expression of trust, vulnerability, and an intense desire to be seen and understood by another person. It's a unique language all its own, one that speaks to the heart and soul, beyond words, beyond mere touch. When we offer ourselves in this way, we are giving a part of our deepest self. It's an intimate exchange of not only our bodies but also our emotions, our thoughts, and, often, our fears. It's a moment when we open ourselves up to another person in a way that we might not do in any other area of our lives. And because of this, it becomes something far more significant than a physical experience. It becomes an emotional and psychological one that can leave us feeling deeply connected, fulfilled, and cherished, or, conversely, vulnerable, lost, and even hurt. From a psychological perspective, the way a woman's brain reacts to intimate experiences is utterly fascinating and speaks to the complexity of our emotional wiring. Studies, including those done by Dr. Amanda Elfus, have shown how our brain releases powerful chemicals during moments of close physical contact, especially during intimate moments. These chemicals, which include oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and dopamine, the feel-good chemical, flood our systems and profoundly affect how we feel. Oxytocin is responsible for creating a sense of trust and emotional connection, while dopamine brings about feelings of pleasure and reward. These hormones are not just fleeting, they have a lasting impact on our emotional state, creating deep-seated memories that will shape how we feel about the experience for days, months, or even years afterward. These chemical responses are not just a momentary surge of happiness. They create pathways in our brains that link the emotional experience with our memory, embedding it into the very fabric of who we are. What is perhaps most striking is the lasting emotional impact these experiences can have. The memories we form during intimate moments are not always pure or simple. They can range from feelings of deep joy, safety, and connection, to moments of doubt, confusion, and even pain. The emotional context in which intimacy occurs plays a huge role in shaping how these experiences resonate with us. For example, if the emotional exchange is one of mutual respect and care, the brain will reinforce positive feelings associated with that experience, creating a sense of connection and security. However, if the experience is marked by uncertainty or lack of emotional reciprocity, the feelings of insecurity and vulnerability can leave scars that linger much longer than the physical sensations of the encounter itself. This is why reflecting on the emotional context of intimacy is so crucial, not just for our understanding of others, but for our understanding of ourselves and our emotional needs. I often think back to a conversation I had with a close friend many years ago, one that has stayed with me ever since. She looked at me with a combination of confusion and sadness in her eyes, and I could tell that something heavy was weighing on her heart. She shared with me, with a mixture of vulnerability and hesitation, "After that moment, I felt like I had given something precious to someone, but I'm not sure if they saw it the same way." I could sense the depth of her hurt, and at the time, I didn't have the right words to comfort her. I hadn't yet learned what it meant to truly give of yourself in such a personal, intimate way. I didn't fully understand the magnitude of what she was saying, the emotional vulnerability that comes with sharing your intimacy with someone, and how fragile it makes you feel when that intimacy is not met with the same level of care and emotional investment. I was unable to offer her the comfort she needed because, in that moment, I couldn't fully grasp the significance of the experience she was describing. But over time, with my own experiences and emotional growth, I came to understand her pain. Her feelings were not only valid but a natural consequence of giving herself emotionally and physically without feeling that her trust and vulnerability were being reciprocated. She had shared a piece of herself, a gift really, and yet, without the emotional exchange to match it, she was left feeling empty, unsure of her worth, and even questioning whether what she gave was truly valued. This experience opened my eyes to the reality that intimacy is not just a momentary exchange. It is a profound transaction that involves the sharing of one's heart and soul. When that exchange is not met with respect, mutual care, and emotional reciprocity, it can leave lasting scars. Scars that can take time, reflection, and healing to mend. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Through this, I learned that intimacy is sacred. It is not just about what we give, but about how we give it and how it is received. It's a dance of emotions, trust, and respect, and when that dance is disrupted or unbalanced, the emotional fallout can be significant. This is why it is so important to not only reflect on our own experiences of intimacy but to honor the emotional needs that come with them. We must ask ourselves, what are we truly giving when we share intimacy? What do we expect in return? And are those expectations being met? Are we treating our emotional selves with the respect and care we deserve? And are we in turn offering that same respect and care to others? As I reflect on this, I realize how much these intimate exchanges shape who we are. They are not just isolated moments. They are milestones in our emotional lives, defining how we view ourselves, how we connect with others, and how we allow others to connect with us. Our intimacy is a reflection of our deepest selves, And when we engage in it with an open heart, we must remember to protect that heart, honor the trust we place in others, and always ensure that our vulnerability is met with the respect it deserves. This is what truly makes intimacy meaningful, a balance of giving and receiving, a dance of emotions that builds connections, fosters trust, and creates lasting bonds that can carry us through the ups and downs of life. A woman's body undergoes significant and often profound changes after intimacy, and these changes are not merely physical. They ripple through her emotional and psychological well-being in ways that can be both subtle and intense. From a medical perspective, we understand that intimacy is far more than just a momentary physical exchange. It is a multifaceted experience that deeply impacts the body's systems, particularly the nervous and endocrine systems. The release of hormones, like oxytocin, which is often referred to as the bonding hormone, is one of the primary ways in which our bodies react to intimate moments. Oxytocin helps to reinforce the bond between partners, creating feelings of closeness and trust. It has the power to reduce stress and anxiety, triggering feelings of calm and emotional warmth. This hormone's effects are not fleeting. They can linger, fostering a sense of security and well-being that can positively affect a woman's mental and emotional state. However, as with any powerful force, there is a condition. The emotional context in which intimacy occurs plays a vital role in how these hormonal responses manifest. If intimacy is shared in a space filled with love, care, respect, and mutual understanding, the effects can be deeply healing, bringing a woman a sense of deep satisfaction and emotional connection. But when those elements are absent, when intimacy is transactional, hollow, or forced, the body's response can be far less nurturing. It can be deeply unsettling. Rather than fostering feelings of closeness and joy, the body can react with tension, anxiety, discomfort, or even a pervasive sense of emptiness. For a woman in this situation, the act of intimacy might leave her feeling more disconnected, not just from her partner but from herself. Let me paint a picture for you, one that many women, at some point in their lives, may find familiar. Imagine a woman who finds herself in an intimate encounter with someone she does not feel deeply connected to, either emotionally or mentally. At this moment, her heart and mind are not in alignment. Her body is physically present, but her emotions are distant, protective, and perhaps even wary. This emotional dissonance doesn't just stay in the realm of the mind. It affects her body, too. The very act of intimacy may not feel like the joyful, bonding experience she's been taught to expect. Instead, it feels like a heavy, forced encounter. And this emotional imbalance often manifests in physical ways. Many women, in situations like this, report feeling inexplicable fatigue after such experiences, sometimes experiencing muscle aches or a deep sense of physical exhaustion. Some even feel a strange ache in their hearts, something intangible but deeply felt. This is not just a coincidence. The body and mind are intricately linked, and when one is in turmoil, the other cannot remain unaffected. When the mind feels disconnected or the heart is closed, the body pays the price. It's as though the body, in all its wisdom, recognizes that something is not right and responds by signaling discomfort, pain, or even a sense of depletion. I think there's something profoundly humbling in this. The way our body speaks to us when we've been emotionally misaligned, when our deepest needs aren't being met. It reminds me of how sometimes we can ignore our emotional needs in the rush of life or in a desire to please others, but the body never forgets. It doesn't lie or pretend. The body expresses what we may not be able to say aloud. And when we ignore that wisdom, when we dismiss that quiet discomfort, we rob ourselves of the opportunity to truly heal and connect with others in a meaningful way. On the other side, though, some experience intimacy in a completely different light. For some women, intimacy is a source of immense joy, fulfillment, and profound connection. These women experience intimacy not just as a physical act, but as a spiritual and emotional bond that strengthens them, enriches their lives, and deepens their relationship with their partner. They find themselves nourished by the experience, both in body and soul. In these moments, intimacy doesn't just fill a temporary need. It becomes an extension of the deep love and respect they already share with their partner. It is a way of reconnecting, reaffirming the strength of their bond, and feeling deeply valued in all aspects of who they are. For these women, intimacy is not about simply crossing a physical threshold. It's about the connection that forms between them and their partner. It's about the trust that has been carefully nurtured over time, the mutual respect that has been established, and the love that flows freely and openly. It's not just about the physical pleasure, though that certainly plays a part. It's about what that pleasure signifies. It's about the security, the care, and the warmth that envelopes them during those moments. These women don't just experience intimacy, they thrive in it. They feel more alive, more connected, more whole. There's no fatigue afterward, no emptiness. Instead, there is a profound sense of emotional and physical fulfillment that extends far beyond the moment itself. And I can't help but reflect on how much of this experience hinges on the context, the emotional environment in which intimacy occurs. It's clear to me that intimacy, when rooted in love, respect, and deep emotional connection, becomes something far more than a mere physical release. It becomes an experience of profound union. It becomes a celebration of who you are, of who you've become together, of the shared experiences and trust that bind you. This kind of intimacy is not just about physical satisfaction. It's about nourishing the soul and honoring the deeper connection between two people. When intimacy is shared in this way, the body responds in kind. There's no tension, no dissonance, only harmony. The hormones released are those of joy, comfort, and security. The body feels relaxed, open, and free. The heart feels light, unburdened. There is no room for emptiness, no space for anxiety. Instead, the body and mind are in sync, resonating with the shared energy of love and respect. This is the kind of intimacy that heals, nurtures, and makes us feel truly seen and deeply connected to another person. Ultimately, I believe that intimacy is a reflection of the relationship itself. It's not just about the physical act, but the emotional foundation that supports it. It's about how we feel in the presence of our partner, whether we feel valued, respected, and loved. And when we feel those things, the effects of intimacy are nothing short of transformative. Our bodies respond with joy, our minds with peace, and our hearts with connection. Intimacy, in this context, becomes a beautiful celebration of all that we are and all that we share. There's a story I often share when I talk about this topic, one that holds a deep place in my heart. It's the story of a young woman who came to visit me one afternoon, and her presence alone spoke volumes. When she walked through the door, her face was clouded with sadness, her shoulders weighed down as if she were carrying the entire world on her back. She didn't even need to say anything at first. I could see it in her eyes. Something was wrong, something was tearing her apart from the inside. She was hurting deeply, but her words couldn't seem to come out. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of silence, she spoke, her voice tremulous, quivering with emotion. "Grandma," she began, barely above a whisper, "I don't feel like myself anymore. Something's changed inside me, and I'm not sure if it's for the better or the worse. I don't know who I am anymore." The words hung in the air like a heavy fog, and I could feel the weight of her confusion and pain. There was no judgment in her voice, only an unspoken desperation for understanding, for something that would bring clarity to the storm raging inside her. I knew she needed to talk, to share whatever was troubling her, so I gently encouraged her. "What happened, my dear?" I asked softly, with an open heart, eager to offer a listening ear. After a long pause, she opened up, spilling her heart out in a way she hadn't before. She explained that she had recently experienced her first intimate encounter with someone she had hoped would be her partner. She longed for connection, for love, for something meaningful. But instead of the warmth and emotional closeness she had dreamed of, she was met with detachment. The person she trusted had been emotionally distant, indifferent even, leaving her feeling abandoned and deeply hurt. Her words broke my heart as she described the emotional devastation she felt. She had expected love, or at least care, but instead, there was nothing. Just coldness, confusion, and the quiet, haunting realization that the intimacy she sought hadn't led to the emotional fulfillment she craved. She didn't understand why it had gone this way. She had put herself out there, vulnerable and open, only to be met with an emptiness that left her questioning her worth. As I listened to her, I could feel my heart aching for her, but I knew at that moment that what I needed to say to her was something important. Something that perhaps she hadn't yet heard, something that could lift the weight of shame and uncertainty that she was carrying. I looked her squarely in the eyes, holding her gaze with all the love and tenderness I could muster, and said, "My dear, I want you to understand something very important. Your worth is not determined by how someone else treats you. No matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, no matter what words or actions may have been said or left unsaid, your value remains intact. It is not measured by their inability to love you the way you deserve. You are worthy of so much more than that, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can take that away from you." I paused, letting those words sink in, watching as she looked back at me, the tears still glistening in her eyes but now mixed with a hint of something else. Hope, perhaps, or the beginning of understanding. I continued, "Every experience you go through, especially the painful ones, is an opportunity for growth. Yes, it hurts. It cuts deep. But it's in those moments of pain that you learn the most about yourself. You learn what you want, what you need, and what you will not tolerate. You learn to build boundaries, trust your instincts, and recognize when someone isn't offering you the love and respect you deserve. These painful lessons are not meant to break you, but to shape you, to make you stronger, to guide you toward the person you are meant to be. And you must never forget this. You are worthy of love, you are worthy of respect, and you are worthy of a life filled with emotional reciprocity." In the days that followed, I watched as that young woman began to process what I had said. I could see the internal shifts, the small yet significant changes that were happening within her. Over time, she began to realize that while her experience had been difficult and heart-wrenching, it had also been a transformative one. It had opened her eyes to the importance of self-love and self-respect. She began to see that, just because one person failed to give her what she needed, that didn't mean she was unworthy of receiving love or that she had done something wrong. It just meant that she needed to be more selective about the people she allowed into her life. It meant she needed to trust herself more, to trust her intuition, and to make decisions that honored her own needs and desires. In her healing process, she also learned to establish healthier boundaries. She stopped settling for relationships that didn't serve her, and that didn't nourish her emotionally. She learned to say no when something didn't feel right, to walk away when she wasn't getting the respect and care she deserved. Slowly, she began to reclaim her sense of self-worth, piece by piece, moment by moment. With each step, she grew stronger, more resilient, and more confident in her values. This, I believe, is the heart of true growth. The ability to learn from our mistakes and our painful experiences, and to use those lessons as stepping stones toward a more fulfilling and authentic life. Vulnerability, as difficult and sometimes excruciating as it can be, is not a sign of weakness. It is a source of strength. It is through our vulnerability that we connect with our true selves, and it is through our experiences, both good and bad, that we become who we are meant to be. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. To any woman reading this who has felt that deep sadness, confusion, or even regret after sharing her intimacy with someone who couldn't offer what she truly needed, please know this: you are not alone. You are never alone. Countless women have walked this path, myself included. We've all been there, at some point or another, feeling like we are missing something vital, whether it's love, respect, or emotional reciprocity. It's a heart-wrenching feeling, one that can make you question everything you've believed about yourself. But let me make this clear. Those moments, no matter how painful or impactful they seem at the time, do not define who you are. They don't define your worth. You are so much more than any single experience, so much more than a decision made at a particular moment. You are a beautiful, complex, evolving story, and your life is full of endless possibilities. Each chapter, each page, is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become more aligned with the person you are truly meant to be. Your worth is not determined by someone else's failure to recognize it. You are valuable, deserving, and worthy of a love that is nurturing, respectful, and reciprocal. Do not let a single experience, or a handful of experiences, diminish your sense of self-worth. You are a journey, full of depth, full of wisdom, and full of light. And no matter what anyone has failed to see in you, I see it. You are worthy of the love you seek, and you are more than enough. Remember, you are not defined by the actions or decisions of others. You are defined by your growth, your resilience, and your willingness to continue loving and learning, even when it feels difficult. You are and always will be enough. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, and eternal. To the young women listening today, whether you're simply curious or perhaps feeling a bit uncertain about the paths that lie ahead of you, let me share some heartfelt advice that I wish someone had told me when I was your age. Don't feel pressured to rush. There is no clock ticking, no timeline that demands you to make decisions before you're ready. The choices you make about your body, your heart, and the people you choose to share them with are deeply personal and significant. These are not decisions to be made lightly, nor should they be made in haste. Take the time you need, because the most precious part of yourself deserves that space to grow, to understand, and to flourish. Listen closely to your inner voice. Pay attention to your feelings, your true, honest feelings. Ask yourself if you truly feel ready for whatever comes next. Do you trust the person you're considering sharing yourself with? Do you feel loved, respected, and cherished in return? Are you giving from a place of joy, not fear? And above all, remember this, dear one. Your worth is not defined by what you do or don't do, by who you love or who loves you. Your worth is an intrinsic, unshakable truth that is woven into the very fabric of your being. It is not something that can be measured or diminished by any external force. No one has the power to take it from you unless you give it away, and even then, you can reclaim it at any moment. I want to leave you with a beautiful piece of wisdom that my mother shared with me when I was younger. Her words have echoed in my heart ever since, and I hope they can offer you the same peace and clarity they gave me. She said, "True love is not measured by what you give, but by what you feel while giving it. If you give it with joy, without fear or doubt, then it is love. But if you give it with anxiety or sadness, listen to your heart, because perhaps it's not the right time." Those words have been my guiding star, gently reminding me throughout the years that love should never be rushed or forced, and that it should come from a place of authenticity and joy. I share them with you today in the hope that they bring you peace, that they help you navigate the sometimes turbulent waters of relationships with a clearer heart and mind, and that they encourage you to honor and protect the beauty that lies within you. As we come to the end of this video, I want you to take a moment and reflect on everything we've discussed today. What have you learned so far? Perhaps it's the importance of taking your time with your decisions, of recognizing your worth and protecting it, or maybe it's the understanding that true love comes from a place of joy, not fear. Whatever it may be, I encourage you to carry these lessons with you as you continue on your journey. I'd love to hear from you. What is one thing that resonated with you today, and how do you plan to bring it into your life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I believe that sharing our experiences and reflections helps all of us grow, and I'm eager to read what you have to say. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Your support means the world, and together, we can continue to build a community that celebrates wisdom, growth, and authenticity. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.